Right, if you're a Cowboys fan, you'd like to forget last night, even though they were up by 10 and they made a
down by
aggressive
17
push.
and then made a huge comeback.
Aggressive push and made it very interesting at the end. In between, the 49ers did what they often do to the Cowboys: out physical, outplay, out everything, and outscore. 49ers get the win on Sunday Night Football, 30-24. Cowboys fall to 3-4, and the 49ers at 4-4 in a three-way tie for first place in the NFC West, with the Rams in fourth place at 3-4. They've played one fewer game.
Right.
So they're all bunched together with four losses.
The Arizona Cardinals beat the 49ers head-to-head, and the 49ers have an advantage over the Seahawks, who they beat head-to-head. But, I think the first thing you say is, you said it right, out-physicaled, outplayed, whatever. Well, the 49ers are a banged-up football team, but there is a thing there. They're a team. They are a team. The 49ers are still talented throughout their football team. They're well-coached, all that. The Cowboys are just a collection of players. They're not a team, in my opinion. That's what I look at. Their offense, it's two people. It's CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. And if they can't just go off for 380 and CeeDee Lamb catches 180 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns, and it's that, they can't win a football game. This is not a way. I mean, Dallas, Jerry Jones, he knows. He saw great teams in the 90s. You can't win a Super Bowl or go to the playoffs with just two people. And then Micah Parsons not being available on the other side, and no DeMarcus Lawrence still, and going through those issues. But, that's where it starts more than anything. You just look at it and go, they're not the same quality of a roster and the way they play as the San Francisco 49ers. I credit their fight and all of that. But, there's just way too much on Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb to carry the team and carry the offense and keep them in a game. It's not fair to them. It's definitely not fair to Dak Prescott.
And you're right. And they had 2 weeks to get ready. They had been embarrassed before that bye week. There was just weird stuff that happened between Jerry Jones getting mad and wanting to fire radio hosts he doesn't employ, and then Jerry Jones going back on that show and calling out play calling and play design.
And then people talking about parades through the damn facility and watching people work out.
And Jerry saying it's a good thing because more people will want to come do the tours now, which makes it even more of a distraction. There's just, it's always something with the Cowboys now. They've become the new Chargers, the Rosanna Dana. It's always something. And I don't know why the expectations were as high as they were, because they got embarrassed in the playoffs. They did nothing to improve the team, nothing significant to improve the team in the offseason. The Derrick Henry thing is never going to go away. Jerry Jones brought it up last Tuesday. Brought it up on his own before he could be asked about it, because Henry had a huge game the night before. He knew it was coming, so he decided, I'll just bring it up myself. And where does this go from here? I said last night the loser of this game is going to have a hard time making the playoffs. Now, we still got a lot of football to play, but at some point, you are who you are. And I know that every year it seems like there's a team that's hovering around 500 that finds the gas pedal at Thanksgiving. I don't see anything from the Cowboys that makes me think it's going to be them.
Absolutely not. I said this last night on my podcast late night, with Ahmed Fareed. I just said, he asked about the Cowboys in playoffs. I said, I'm not. There's no way. I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to the playoffs.
Well, and why bother when you know what's waiting for you? I think at some point, for guys who have been on the team year to year to year, and they've had these playoff exits, you get to a certain point where why bother? We know what's going to happen when we get there. And I know they're competitive and they delude themselves into thinking it'll be different. But I think at some level where you can't control it, there's this nagging, why do I want to go suit up and play another game when the game check I get is a fraction of what I get and I could get an injury? And what's the point? What's the point when you look at, we can't beat the 49ers, and we're going to have to come across them probably at some point. We definitely can't beat the Lions.
Yeah, we got shellacked by Green Bay in the playoffs last year.
I just think that builds up, it's something that prevents you from digging deep and getting in the mindset that you need to get into to go win, and carry that momentum into the playoffs.
Well, and when you're 3-4 and you were a part of teams that were 12-5 for 3 years in a row, they can sense that they're not the same football team. I mean, of course they can. The first thing that you talk about, their O-line, they can't run the ball at all. It's the worst running offense in football. They're not even that great at pass protecting. Dak Prescott he's a man amongst men in the pocket and hangs in there and makes plays that way. So the defensive line, nothing special to talk about there either. right? There's really, without Deron Bland and Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence, there's no, like, in-your-face playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. So as I sit here, and the NFC is better than I think we all expected it as a whole, I don't think the Cowboys are going to the playoffs by any stretch of the imagination. They'll beat the lower class of teams in the NFL and do that, and they'll stay competitive and flirt with being around 500 and all that, but I don't think they're going to beat any of the quality teams in the sport, not with the way the team is situated and the way they're playing, and of course, like we said, with two people on the offensive side of the ball having to carry the load all the time.
You mentioned the rushing, and that's the basic core heart and soul of a team. How do you run the ball, and how do you defend the run?
Physicality, attitude.
Yes.
Right.
56 yards gained last night net rushing for the Cowboys, 223 allowed. I'm surprised it was that close.
Did you see Shanahan at halftime? Well, yeah, we keep messing up everything. They had an 80-yard touchdown called back, right? It's a penalty. Oh, we held on a 30-yard run. Oh, Deebo Samuel's wide open on a third down over the middle. Brock Purdy missed him. They have a little bit of just not capitalizing on what's there right now. The 49ers have just been sloppy in certain moments, like we saw at the end of the football game when they got the big lead. All of a sudden, guys are running into each other, and they're blowing coverages.
Like they did against the Rams, like they did against the Cardinals. Exactly. They got to iron that out.
They got to iron that out. There's no doubt about that. They are dangerous. They are extremely explosive on the offensive side of the ball, and they're going to be even more explosive when Christian McCaffrey comes back. The defense is not the same, as we've talked about a lot. But, in all, the 49ers do some things at an elite level and came out in the third quarter, and really from that point on, it was kind of domination, right? It's 10-6 at halftime. They go down the field. Isaac Guerrero makes a few runs. You go, oh, man, he looks good coming in the football game. They score a touchdown 13-10. They make a stop. They get the interception by Dak Prescott. Short field, score again. And you're going, damn, it's 20-10, and they're totally in control and really never look back other than Dallas's late push. But, you said it right. They dominate the line of scrimmage. Shanahan's a genius when it comes to run game. Brock Purdy makes some plays in the pass game. They still got Deebo Samuel and George Kittle to work the ball down the field in the pass game and all that. And they're still a dangerous team. The 49ers are 4-4. They're not as good as they've been, but they're still a team that I would look at if I had to play them in the playoffs early on or late in December. I'd go, oh, gosh, we got to play the 49ers and Shanahan and all that crazy stuff they do on offense. Watch out.
Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerrero. I think back 24 years ago, Terrell Davis, Orlandis Gary, Mike Anderson.
Right,
That's why it's amazing they've paid Christian McCaffrey. They didn't need – I know that when he's healthy, he's the most potent weapon offensively in football, which is why they paid him. But this is a team that doesn't need a Christian McCaffrey. It can go spin the wheel, put that guy in, and off we go.
They don't need him. Let's rephrase that. They don't need him in the run game, right? That's where they can get away with it. But McCaffrey's little added ability in the pass game and being that slot receiver, the screens, running routes like a high-level receiver, that is special. And like I've told you a few times, defensive coordinators have told me, McCaffrey in the lineup, McCaffrey out of the lineup, there is a difference. It's a whole different ballgame when they start to motion McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel all over the place, and you don't know who's lining where, and they create so many great mismatches that way. It does take their offense to another level. But Shanahan, they still got talent, and Shanahan is still one of the greatest play callers and game plan designers in the sport. There's no question about that.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.